Honorable lecturers, distinguished participants, thank you for returning and for your high level of enthusiasm and active engagement. I'm Nika Subrata. As you may know that today we will have two MCs. I will become the first MC, and the second one is Miss Yasmin Nur Habiba. We will swap between one session to another. Without further ado, I would like to mention about the importance of today's session. A training course on seed propagation with tissue culture in horticulture for Caribbean and Latin American Republic of Indonesia and the NAM Center shall conclude on this day. We are now getting to the next training program. Mr. Abdurrahim, a lecturer from the ICAT Lembang, is already present. Before Mr. Abdurrahim begins, I would like to read his brief resume. Mr. Abdurrahim has received several training sessions on the field of quality management system for utilities and cities, an associate expert lecturer at the ICAT Lembang. He has been a member Professional Association APRI since 2019. In various international activities, he has been an international speaker for the training of farmers trainers, for the tissue culture training, for the workshop on added value, and the dispatch of experts to the Philippines, Taiwan, and Uzbekistan. Mr. Abdurrahim is an agrotechnological specialist. In this session, he will give presentation on result of tissue and expand management. Mr. Abdurrahim, you could begin your presentation now.
Screen.
Ya.
Mana sih?
Ya, mana?
Beberapa.
Belum dibuka.
Miss Nikan. Good evening, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. An honor to meet you in this beautiful day. Thank you for coming to this presentation. In this opportunity, I would like to share about explant management. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Abdul Rahim. I'm lecturer. I'm from Indonesia Center Agriculture Training Lembang. You can contact me via several alternatives as you can see in this slide. What is explant? I'm sure all of you are familiar with the meaning of explant. Explant are plant parts such as cell, tissues, or organs which are used as planting material for plant propagation through tissue culture. Well, in general, there are 4 keys to success in explant management. Where did you get your explant from? 2. how do you sterilize explant from contaminants? 3. In what medium will you grow the explant? 4. How skilled are you at growing explant and how do you maintain them in the incubation room? What does a good explant look like? A good explant is an explant that can grow normally and healthy in culture media. A good explant can come from explant rootstock with clean origin, explant rootstock which grow normally and healthy, and explant rootstock in healthy environmental conditions. As you know, explant sterilization is one of the keys to successful explant management. Explant sterilization aims to remove source of contaminant such as bacteria, fungi, and viruses. More about explant sterilization. In general, there are 4 important points that must be considered in the explant sterilization process. Sterilization material, sterilization duration, explant condition, and the concentration of the sterilizer. Two principles in explant sterilization that must be considered. 1. Use sterilizing material starting from the lowest concentration and duration, as long as the explant are free from contaminant. Be careful, sterilizing material do not kill the explant tissue. Each explant has different characteristics. Each sterilization material has different characteristics. You can try and learn to recognize each of these characteristics. The most important, starting from the simple sterilization material and the shorter sterilization duration. In general, there is no standard for concentration and duration of sterilization. Experience which find the right sterilization formula for each different explant. As a guide, you can use our experience. If the explant comes from the ground, you need more concentration and duration of sterilization than explant that come from above the ground. You can use one or more of the following alternative material: aqueducts and water to clean dirt, detergent, liquid or powder to clean dirt that is difficult to clean with just water. Povidone iodine, antiseptic that function to inhibit the growth of viruses and kill bacteria and fungi. Alcohol, a type of disinfectant that can kill bacteria, fungi, and viruses. If you want to kill bacteria on the explant, you can use a bactericide. If you are going to want to control the fungus, you can use a fungicide. The concentration and duration of sterilization were adjusted to the explant condition. Twin 20 to help open the explant tissue to make the sterilization process easier. Chlor, a type disinfectant that can kill bacteria, fungi, and viruses. As an illustration, as you can see on the slide, different explant condition require different concentration and duration of sterilization. For example, chili or tomato eggplant require low concentration and duration of sterilization than potato or banana eggplant. You need to know there are several issues that come to us so that we can share what we know. Among them is the use of silver nanoparticle as a sterilization agent. As I said earlier, in principle, understand the characteristic of eggplant and sterilization material. Silver nanoparticles are only effective at killing bacteria on the surface of the eggplant. Meanwhile, most of the contaminants that are difficult to remove come from inside the eggplant. On the other hand, the use of silver nanoparticle can damage the eggplant tissue. For this reason, the use of antiseptic or disinfectant is a solution to kill bacteria without having to kill the eggplant tissue. Of course, we do regard to the composition of material, concentration, and duration of sterilization. What if antiseptic or disinfectant cannot kill the bacteria in the eggplant? Quarantine the eggplant rootstock. Use antibiotic treatment for 3 months. Take eggplant shoot are 5 days old, less than 1 week. The hope is not infected with microbes. Take the meristem 0.5 millimeters. If it is difficult, take the eggplant as small as possible, 5 millimeters. Another issue asking about silver nanoparticle as a solution to kill fungi. In general, the principle is the same as using silver nanoparticle to kill bacteria, because bacteria and fungi are the main source of contaminant in tissue culture. Silver nanoparticles are only effective in killing fungi on the surface of the eggplant. Fungi often infect the inner eggplant and are difficult to kill with silver nanoparticle. So, you still need an antiseptic or disinfectant to kill the fungi in the eggplant. Okay, the next discussion after the eggplant sterilization process, we will discuss how to inoculate eggplant properly and correctly. First, make sure all tool and material to be used have been sterilized. Second, make sure the eggplant is planted in the right place, such as laminar airflow. Don't forget to sterilize first. Third, make sure the media that has been prepared is in good condition. The media is not contaminated with bacteria and fungi. Fourth, make sure you inoculate the eggplant at the correct stage. Burn tools and material before use. Take the eggplant part properly. And please put the eggplant in the culture bottle quickly and precisely. Fifth, you have to subculture if culture media has run out. You want to root an eggplant or some other purpose, and the eggplant has filled the bottle. 6. Make sure the incubation room is an ideal eggplant growing environment. Check periodically temperature, humidity, light intensity, and eggplant condition. On this slide, as you can see, we try to respond to the issue of how somaconal variation occur. Somaconal variation occur due to propagation using callus and somatic embryos. Next, it is the issue of the effect of LED wavelength on eggplant growth. Plants need light radiation according to their need. Leaf color determines the required light spectrum. Vegetative growth requires an infrared light spectrum, and the generative phase more dominant in the ultraviolet spectrum. Sunlight has a complete spectrum of light according to need of each plant. For this reason, the light intensity and the duration of irradiation determine the choice of LED wavelength. And it's about narrowband illumination. As we know, generally the same as the previous issue, that the intensity and duration of irradiation had an effect on the growth of eggplant. Similar to the previous issue, it's about the effect of blue light and temperature on plant growth. Different color of light indicate different light intensities. Light intensity affect plant growth. Blue light is known to effective on plant growth. While on this slide, explained about the effect of temperature and a growth of eggplant. The temperature tolerance for plant growth is 5 to 35 degrees Celsius. Temperature lower than 5 degrees Celsius or higher than 35 degrees Celsius can cause plant growth to decline. Well, on this slide, I try to share my experience of how developing countries utilize tissue culture in horticultural crops propagation. Focus on the development of horticultural crop on high economic value commodities, which are difficult to propagate conventionally. In our country, for example, potatoes, several varieties of bananas, orchid, and preserving germplasm and local wisdom. And finally, how to strengthen tissue culture research capacity. Develop research based on local wisdom, high economic value, and complete tissue culture laboratory facilities to support this. Okay, that's my presentation. In conclusion, in the management of eggplant, it's important to pay attention where the eggplant come from, sterilize eggplant, how to inoculate eggplant, and maintain them. Next, ladies and gentlemen, let's watch the following video of eggplant management. Yang cili.
Soak tomato seeds for 12 hours in water. Drain the tomato seeds. Soak in Clorox 15% for 7 minutes in laminar airflow cabinet. Rinse the distilled water 3 times, each for 5 minutes in laminar airflow cabinet. Sown in Eurasian scoop media. Soak chili seeds for 12 hours in water. Drain the chili seeds. Soak in Clorox 20% for 10 minutes in laminar airflow cabinet. Rinse with distilled water 3 times, each for 5 minutes in laminar airflow cabinet. Soak in 10% Clorox for 10 minutes in laminar airflow cabinet. Rinse with distilled water 3 times, each for 5 minutes in laminar airflow cabinet. Sonen Yurishijin Scoop Media.
Mr. Abdurrahim, thank you very much. Your knowledge on result of tissue and explant management is much appreciated. Of course, I would like to thank the ICA team for the step-by-step explanation in the video, which is very impressive, and I hope the participants learned something new as a result. Distinguished participants, commentary on Mr. Abdurrahim's presentation is now open to all participants. Our discussion should last around 15 minutes. To participants, you can give comments verbally by switching on your camera and microphone. And of course, you could also write it in the chat section, and I would read it aloud. For participants, we are welcoming questions or comment. Or Or perhaps Mr. Abdurrahim, while we are waiting for questions or comments from the participants, maybe I would like to know what is your opinion on the usage of liquid mixture of derosal and penicillin to eliminate contaminants from tissue culture. I've heard that this mixture can also be used to eliminate contaminants. I will try to type it on over here, the chat section.
I am not yet try this material, tirosol and penicillin. I don't know about that material, but in our experience, usually we use as we already explained before, we use iodine, povidone iodine, alcohol, detergent, clean, bactericide, fungicide, and etc. And the result in our experience, I think is enough. I'm not I don't need this material.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Why the concentration? Okay.
Prinsip risiko yang prinsip proses sterilisasi.
Okay. I want to try respond from Gabriel Garcia. What is the principal risk in this process? Okay. In our experience, we have two principles in explant sterilization that must be considered. One, use sterilizing material starting from the lowest concentration and duration, as long as the explant are free from contaminants. Two, be careful of sterilizing material. Do not kill the explant tissue. This our principle. I think if you do that, our principle, I think you don't have risk about sterilization process. I think that, yeah.
Yes, thank you. Yes,
Okay.
thank you very much, Mr. Abdurrahim, for the response from one of participants from Ecuador. There is one participant who raised hand, Mr. Fred. Mr. Fred, would you like to address your questions or comments verbally, please, Mr. Fred? You can start unmuting your microphone. Okay, or maybe while Mr. Fred is preparing, maybe we can move to the question from Panama. His question is why the concentration of Clorox is so elevated. I think maybe Mr. Abdurrahim, you could also add some insight whether the usage of Clorox is also safe for the plantation.
Okay, I want to try to answer the question from Ahmed Guerrero. Why the concentration of Clorox is so elevated? I think in the video not elevated, but turun.
Hasil penelitian sih itu.
Mr. Ahmed Guerrero, the concentration of Clorox, this is a result of research. I think it's enough. My opinion is enough. It's enough. It's not too elevated. I think enough.
Yes, maybe I can help that. Just like Mr. Abdurrahim said that the concentrations is a little bit high, but that was one of the research we taken from the journal and the research result. And using this high concentration, it has been proven by the experience in the laboratory. It can remove the contaminations to prevent the contaminations, and also will not disturb or affect the tissue culture process. And I think it's already just like Mr. Abdurrahim said, it's relevant based on our experience.
I think it's different our condition, environment, our environment in Indonesia, and Mr. Ahmed Guerrero from
Panama, Mr. Abdurrahman.
Panama. I think it's different. That's Miss Nigan.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Abdurrahim and Mrs. Fiadini. So I guess that both of you confirmed that the usage or the level of Clorox that you have demonstrated on the video is safe for the plantation. Next, I think since we still have around 8 minutes left, I think I've learned. Okay, Mr. Fred, would you like to give comment or question to the speaker, please? You can unmute your microphone.
Yes, morning from Beliefs. I want to ask if you would do a germination test for the chili and the tomatoes before you go through those preparations, because those preparations look very tedious, and you don't want that you put seeds and they don't have the purity and for germination.
Okay, thank you very much. Maybe I will try to repeat the question from Mr. Fred. He's asking about germination for the seeds of chili and tomato.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Fred. That's the first stage in our process. The first in our process. In next process, after chili or tomato grow germination, okay, we can do treat the other treatment. Yes. Okay, that's good.
So why we use the seed of the chili and tomatoes, because in the tissue culture process, we need to get the meristematic tissues. And the first step that we use is to germinate the seed first. After they sprout, we harvesting the shoot tip or the meristematic tissue for the next steps in culture them.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abdurrahim and Mrs. Fia. Mr. Fred, would you like to add more comment based on the responses from the speakers? Okay.
No, no, that's clear. I just wanted them to clarify if a germination test is done before the preparation of these explant media, no, because the preparation itself look very tedious, and you don't want to be preparing these kinds of materials knowing that it's also costly and the seeds are not viable.
Yes, yes, of course, I believe regarding the protocol or the guideline on the ICAT of Lembang, they will keep the plant to be free from contamination before doing tissue explant management. Okay, since we still have around 5 minutes left, I learned that the committee has arranged a fun game to keep you entertained, to keep the participants entertained. Perhaps Sophia, you could share the link for the game.
Okay. Okay. I already shared the link of our game for this morning or evening in Jakarta time, and you can play by clicking the link that we already sent in the chat room.
Okay, so participants, you have around another 3 minutes to finish the game. Thank you. And of course, to access the game, you must also follow the capitalized letters since the link is case sensitive. The game will last for, we have 10 minutes left to finish. Participants, thank you for your active participation. After 5 minutes, I believe that we already know the result. Mrs. Fiadini, could you please let us know the outcome of the game?
Okay, Ms. Nikan, I'm going to show you the result of this game. And the winner is Mr. Adrian. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Mr. Adrian, for winning the first place. Yes, it's an interesting game. Okay, anyway, since the time right now already pointed at 8:45 p.m., perhaps we can wrap up the session on tissue, result of tissue and explant management. Thank you, Mr. Abdul Rahim and participant for a fruitful discussion that we had in this session. So we are now getting to the next trainings program. Mrs. Fiadini Putri, a lecturer from ICAT Lembang. As you already familiar with her because she has been present since yesterday. Before Mrs. Fia begins, I would like to read her brief resume. Mrs. Fiadini Putri has more than 10 years experience in training and teaching human resources, working in agriculture. She is an agronomist and a horticultural specialist. She has extensive professional experience in horticulture, global trends, research in organic nutrients and secondary metabolites of plants. She trains in the acclimatization. Of course, in this session, she will give presentation on the acclimatization. Mrs. Fia, you could begin your presentation now.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Nikan. Very good morning and good evening, everyone. My name is Fia. I'm one of the ICAT Lembang lecturers, just like Mr. Abdul Rahim and Ms. Sani. And in this session, I would like to share to you about the tissue culture acclimatization. Next. Okay, the objective after this session, participant was expected to understand about the importance of acclimatizations in tissue culture. Next. Okay, as we know that tissue culture is an alternative way for high quality seedling mass product. And nowadays, tissue culture has become a trend and there is a high demand of tissue culture products, especially in horticultural farmer, to get the good quality seedling. And a lot of farmer on farm industry has already equipped them with the tissue culture laboratory, whether in simple tissue culture lab or even the sophisticated one. In order to produce or selling the tissue culture, it's now become a promising business. And there is more tissue culture is vacancy in some company and research center in Indonesia. At these sessions, we're going to share to you some of the acclimatization activities that we do in our ICAT. Next. So the acclimatization is a process of adaptations or transfer the plants from the internal environment to the outside environment. It means that from the controlled environment to the uncontrolled environment. And this is the final stage of micropropagations. So we can say that acclimatization is one of the physiological adaptations. Well, in this case, the plants are being acclimated from the culture vessel to a greenhouse or outdoor environments. Just prior to acclimatizations, the plants should have a shoot and root, but sometimes they are not yet capable in supporting themselves in the soil. Next. Okay, so why we need the acclimatizations process? Well, during the in vitro culture, plants grow under very special conditions in relative airtight cultivation vessels. The air humidity is higher and the irradiance is lower than the conventional culture. This use of closed fascia, of course, in order to prevent the microbial contaminations and the air turbulence increase the leaf boundary layers and also limit the inflow of carbon dioxide and also the gases of the plants. And acclimatization is also needed to improve the root functions to absorb nutrients from non-agar media such as soil. And we also need to maximize the photosynthesis process and to adapt from a sterile environment in the culture vessel to an environment when the microorganisms present. So what we need next, okay, what we need to acclimatize when the plants already have a root, stem, and a complete leaf, it means they're ready to be acclimatized. And now we're going to show you about the acclimatization phase that we use, especially for banana, tomato, and hot pepper. That usually we do that in the same technique, and maybe going to share you a little bit about potato that we also produce in our tissue culture laboratory. Next. Okay, in general, the materials that we need in the acclimatization phase are the growing media, the plantlet itself, fungicides, and bactericide, and also root growth hormone. Next. And the tools are markers, tape, scissors, tray, clear plastics, and also poly bags. Next. And also the autoclave and gas stove. This is the manual autoclave. Next. Okay, this one is for banana, tomatoes, and hot pepper. The first thing that we need to do is preparing the growing media. We usually use the compositions medium. It was sand and compost with the ratio of 3:4. Next. We're going to mix the media and put in the clear plastics. Next. And we sterilize the media for at least 1 hour using the autoclave. And after that, we put the sterilized media in the plastic tray and spray the sterile media with the fungicides and also bactericide, and we can leave it for 1 night. Okay, that was in general in how we're preparing the acclimatization's medium. And the second one is we need to prepare our plantlet, just like previously I shared to you that the plantlet should be ready to be acclimatized. It means it has complete roots, stem, and also leaves. Because once again, we need to understand that tissue culture plantlet are delicate because they have been grown in under low intensity artificial light and also high humidity. Okay, the first step is, of course, clean the plantlet. We need to clean the plantlet from the media that is stick under the running water, because the culture media are often supplemented with saccharides as a carbon and energy source, and also the plant regulator. And these additions will increase the risk of bacterial and fungi contaminations in the acclimatization phase. So that's why we need to clean all of the media that stick to the plant root. Then after we clean it, we can put the plantlet on the plastic tray. And then the plantlet was soaked in the bactericide and fungicide solutions. Well, this is a preventive step, so the plants are not exposed to fungi and bacteria during the acclimatization process. Sometimes we soak them, the plantlet, about 15 minutes and let them dry in a plastic tray that we already lined with the pepper. And after that, we can plant the plantlets, and before we planting, the plantlet roots are deep in the root hormone. And after that, we can wrap the tray using the clear plastic and write or put a label on it. So because they're not quite hardened off during their grow in the culture phase, also we need to wrap a plastic first. Okay, to growing the bananas and tomatoes and hot pepper seedling, after we put them on the tray for the acclimatization phase, then we can change the media. We transfer the plants into the polybag. And the composition of the polybag media is soil and husk charcoal with a ratio of 4:1. Okay. Well, the transplanting process is moving the acclimated seedling into polybags. So after a couple of days in the container with the wrapping plastic, we can move the plants into the polybags. Next. And especially for the banana plantlets, we are transplant from the previous acclimatization into the polybags. And this is also the same way for the potatoes and also the hot pepper. Next. And after that, we can put the seedling under the plastic lid cover, then spray them with water because we need to maintain the moisture for the growing seedling. Next. And the plastic tray was stored in a plastic lid cover, about 55% to 75% of shade net for 1 until 2 weeks. And during the acclimatization process in the polybag, the first thing is we need to put them in the shade first. And after that, the seedling that have a new leaves are transferred to the Montsor bed. In this case, the open land is still inside the screen house. And especially for the banana, every 2 weeks, the seed will provide with nitrogen fertilizer. And if the plant was attacked with the caterpillars or insect, we can use the insecticide to get rid of them. And okay, for the extras information, we're going to also give you an information about potato acclimatizations that we also use, we also do in our IC80. Since our IC80 is also providing the training and also education for our participant and internship students, it's not only about the tissue culture technique, but also the marketing prospect of the tissue culture product. And one of our featured tissue culture product in this IC80 is a potato seedling. So one thing that we need to prepare is the tools. It's a little bit different between the potatoes and the rest of the commodities. Previously, I told you that in this tissue, in these potatoes seedling, we need the DFT installations. This is the deep flow technique installation. It's one of hydroponic types of installations. We need the electrical conductivity meter and pH meter, tray tweezers, hand sprayers, and bucket. And the materials that we need. Next. Okay, the materials is the potato plantlet, the Abimix nutrition. Abimix nutrition is the hydroponics nutrients that we use to make the nutrient solutions in the acclimatization phase of the potato seedling. We can also use the husk charcoal, 70% of alcohol, insecticide, detergent, Clorox, and water. So the first is preparations. So for potato, the acclimatization is also conducted in a greenhouse. And the first step that we need to do is to sterilize this greenhouse and DFT installations. Next. Okay, so we need to sterilize all of the wall and all of the things inside this greenhouse. and also the deep flow techniques installations. These are the hydroponic installations. Okay, next. The next thing is we need to prepare the growing media, which is the rice husk charcoal. It should be perfectly burned before we use it. And we can put it in the seedling tray, just like you saw in the slides. And for the plantlets, we can open the bottles and remove the plantlet. We clean it just like before. And after that, we can cut the plantlets and plant it into the growing media. So it's about 3 nodes. And we can plant it into the growing media and place the tray in the DFT installations. Okay, and then we can use the Abimix nutritions. We need to check the solutions, electrical conductivity. We usually use the EC is 0.5. And after 14 to 21 days, it is ready for the cutting. So in our IC80, we do the acclimatizations for potato, and we use it to prepare the potato seedling that we call genome. The genome phase, the first step is we can use it for the first cutting. Next. Okay, the preparation is just the same. We need to sterilize all the screenhouse, the tools, and also the DFT, and also the tray. And we can cut the seedling from the plantlet. And we need to dip it into the root hormone and plant into the tray contains the media. And maintain the first cutting as in the acclimatization phase. And once again, after about 14 days to 21 days, it's already for the second cuttings. So it's the same with the first cutting. We need to sterilize everything first, and then we cut the seedling from the plantlet, dip it into the root hormone, and plant it again in the tray. We can maintain also, just like in the acclimatization phase, and we continue to the third cuttings. It's just the same. We cut the seedling from the plantlet from the second cuttings. We can cut it again and put dip into the root hormone and planting the seedling in the tray contains the media. And after the plant age is about 21st day after plants, the plants was able to move into the aeroponics container. Okay, this is how we do it. We remove the plant from the tray. I was clean it and dip it into the fungicides and put it in the styrofoam using the rock wool or foam. Next. Next. Okay, we use the hydroponic nutrients still for the nutrient solutions that we use in the aeroponic container. The EC is about 0.5 to 2, and the pH is about 6. And we can plant the potato seedling in the aeroponic container to produce the mini tuber that we are considered as the genome or the generation 0 of the potato seedling. Next. Okay, this is what we produce, the genome, the breeder seeds. After that, we can use it and plant it on the sterile, but not again in the aeroponic container to produce the G1, the foundation seed 1. And the result of the G1, we can plant again to get the G2 or the foundation seed 2. And the tuber we can plant again and result in the G3 and also the G4. And it's after that we can sell the seed into for the farmers, and they can produce the potato for consumptions. And how long from the G1 to the G2 and the next G3 and the G4 is about 3 months with plants on the sterile film. Usually it's in the greenhouse. Okay, thank you very much. That's all my presentations about the acclimatization phase that we do in our IC80. And now we're going to play the video about the acclimatization phase for Chilean tomatoes and also for the potatoes.
Mix the sand and compost media, mixed it uniformly. The mixed media is sterilized using autoclave for 1 hour. After the media cool, place it in a plastic tray. The amount of media is 1/3 the height of the plastic tray. Spray the media in the plastic tub using bactericide, then let it stand for a day before use. The plantlets were taken out from the culture bottle. Then washed with flowing water to remove the adhered media. The clustered plantlets are separated using scissors. Then immersed in a bactericide solution for 5 minutes. Then immersed in a fungicide solution for 15 minutes. Dry the plantlet on drier papers. The plantlets are then planted in the prepared acclimation media. The plastic tray that is full of plantlets is sprayed with water until wet. Then covered it using clear plastic and tied with tape. The type of plant and date of acclimatization shall be labeled on the plastic tray. Plastic tray are stored in a large plastic lid covered by 55% to 75%. Shade net for 3 to 4 weeks. Monitor the growth of the plantlets regularly to ensure that the plantlets are growing properly. The composition of the polybag media is 4 soil and 1 husk charcoal. The plantlets were taken from the acclimated medium carefully. Do not damage the root. Make a hole in the media inside the poly bags and put the plantlet into the hole. Make sure that the roots are not folded. Press the media around the seedlings' shoots. Store the seeds in the poly bags, then watering them using a sprayer. Store the seeds in the poly bags under the plastic lid cover for 1 to 2 weeks. while for the seedlings inside the lid, provide them with the foliar fertilizer 2 times a week.
Mrs. Fia, thank you very much for your presentation and for imparting your knowledge on the
Miss Niken, sorry, one more. Yeah.
distinguished participants' commentary on Mrs. Fia's presentation. Oh, okay, you still have
Materials.
another video. Okay, sorry, I'm sorry.
Tools. Procedures. Make sure all tools to be used have been sterilized. Make sure the LAFC has been sterilized, as contained in the equipment sterilization procedure.
Okay, I'm very sorry we played the wrong videos. Now we're going to play the potato plantlet acclimatizations.
Yes, sorry, Mrs. Fia. I thought the video has been concluded. That's why I was cutting in between. Please continue with the video. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tool. Material. Work steps. Sanitize the screen room by cleaning all dirt, moss, plant residues, etc. After that, do the sterilization of the room with Baclin 2.5 milliliters, liter, then mix it into a barrel or container that has been filled with water. And insecticide 5 milliliters, liter, then put into the sprayer, then stir until evenly distributed. Perform sterilization activities 1 week before planting activities, do it 2 to 3 times. Insert the husk charcoal planting media into the tray, no need to press or compact it. Make sure the husk charcoal planting media is perfectly cooked. Husk charcoal that has been cooked perfectly and is being used for the first time, does not need to be sterilized. Flush the planting media with plain water until saturated. Make a planting hole with a spacing of 2 to 3 centimeters, a depth of 3 to 5 centimeters. Prepare plantlets that are still in bottles from tissue culture techniques. Adapt the plantlets in the acclimatization room for 1 to 2 days before the planting process. Prepare a plastic tray to clean the plantlets from the agar media. Open the bottle cap. Then remove the plantlets from the bottle using a stick with the planting hole carefully. Clean the plantlets from the agar media with clean water until there is no agar sticking to the plantlets. Store the cleaned plantlets in a container. Sterilize razor blades with alcohol. Cut the plantlets that are too long at the rooted part using a sharp razor blade that has been sterilized with 70% alcohol. Plant in the planting media that has been prepared previously. Close the planting hole slowly, don't press too much. Place the embedded tray on the NFT installation. Pour 20 milliliters of nutrition A and 20 milliliters of nutrition B. Mix it into a barrel containing 20 liters of water, so you get a concentration of 0.51 ms, Mike Siemens. Age 14 to 21 days, the plant is ready to be used as a source of material, seed, cuttings 1. Steps of cooperation with work. Steps of acclimatization. Cut the plant from the top 3 nodes, 3 leaves, with the stem length below the book/bottom leaf, 3 to 5 centimeters long. Use a sharp razor that has been sterilized with 70% alcohol. Soak the planting material, seed cuttings, with a root stimulant before planting. Plant the seed cuttings into the planting media that has been prepared previously. Age 14 to 21, the plant is ready to be used as a source of planting material, seed, cuttings 2. Steps of cooperation with work. Steps of acclimatization. Cut the plant in each node, 1 leaf. Use leaves that have opened, which are still buds removed. Use a sharp razor that has been sterilized with 70% alcohol. Soak the planting material, seed cuttings, with a root stimulant before planting. Plant the seed cuttings into the planting media that has been prepared previously. Age 14 to 21, the plant is ready to be used as a source of planting material, seed, cuttings 3. Cutting 3. Steps of cooperation with work. Steps of acclimatization. Cut the plant from the top 3 nodes, 3 leaves, with the stem length below the book/bottom leaf, 3 to 5 centimeters long. Use a sharp razor that has been sterilized with 70% alcohol. Soak the planting material, seed cuttings, with a root stimulant before planting. Plant the seed cuttings into the planting media that has been prepared previously. Age 14 to 21, plants are ready to be used as a source of planting bodies, seeds, that are ready to be planted with the aeroponics system. Go Seeds!
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Via. You have played all of the video. So, distinguished participants, commentary on Mrs. Via's presentation is now open to all participants. Our discussion should last around 15 minutes. participants, of course, you can give comments verbally by switching on your camera and microphone, and you could also write it in the chat section, and I would read it aloud. Okay, there is one participant who would like to address it verbally. For Gabriel Garcia from Ecuador, you can address your comment or question, please.
Okay, thank you. I need to know what kind of propagation material is used to start a potato propagation.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Gabriel. So your question is what kind of propagation technique for potato? Mrs. Fia, or perhaps Mr. Abdurrahim, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Gabriel, for your question. So the planting material that we use in the tissue culture for potato seedling is the sprout of the potatoes. Or maybe Mr. Abdurrahim want to show the videos.
Yeah.
You have the extra. We're going to show you the video in how to plant the potato seedling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Materials. Tools. Procedures. Make sure all tools to be used have been sterilized. Make sure the LAFC has been sterilized, as contained in the equipment sterilization procedure. Put the explant into the beaker glass. Wash explants with running water. Soak the explants with detergent or dishwashing liquid, stir or shake for 5 minutes. Then rinse 3 times with plain water until the foam is vanished. Soak the explants with each ingredient for 10 minutes. And rinse at least 3 times with distilled water. Transfer the explants to a new beaker glass or jam bottle. Remove all sterilization tools and materials from the LAFC except explants. Spray LAFC again with 70% alcohol before inoculation the explants. Explants are ready to be planted. Before planting, LAFC must have been sterilized for at least 1 hour by turning on the UV lamp and blower. Spray LAFC with 70% alcohol before adding all the planting materials and tools. Spray materials and tools with 70% alcohol before adding them to LAFC. Arrange the materials and tools properly and neatly. Light the Bunsen burner. Spray petri dish with 70% alcohol and burn. Sterilize.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Fia. I think Mr. Gabriel is disconnected.
Oh, okay.
Perhaps there's a connection problem. Yeah, just a few seconds ago.
Yes, it's okay.
Okay. Okay, but of course, you can. I don't. You can maybe you can have another communication with him just in case he's still trying to logging in again. So we still have another 10 minutes while we are waiting for Mr. Gabriel. Okay, he's returning back. Okay, Mr. Gabriel. Maybe Mrs. Via, maybe you can explain about the rest of the video.
Okay. Okay, we're going to show you the results of the potato. So after we enter the laminar airflow, we're going to peel the sprout leaf by leaf until it's the smallest shoot tip, and then we plant into the jam bottle with the contains the media, and this one is the result, and it's only about 15 days. Yeah. Yes, this is the 15 days after plants, after the initiations process. It's the 15 days. Yeah, that one. So it's quite fast for potato.
Okay, thank you very much. Now everything is clear.
Thank you, Mr. Gabriel.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gabriel, for the question. Another participants, do you have another comments or question to the lecturers? We still have around 7 minutes for a discussion. Okay, Mr. Fred from Belize, you can please turn on.
I'm curious to ask about the kind of type of fungicide and bactericide that you're using for the tomatoes and chili pepper, because I know that the bacterial wilt is vulnerable to those two crops as they come from the same family. What do you use to control the bacterial wilt?
Okay, Mrs. Fia and Mr. Abdul Rahim, the question from Mr. Fred is the kind of insecticides and bactericide that you are using for the tissue culture.
Did you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, for the bactericides, we use the brand name is actually Agrep. Yeah, Agrep. The active compound is streptomycin sulfate, for 20% of streptomycin sulfate, and the fungicides, the active compound is the benomil. And the brand in here, the brand is Benlate. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fred from Belize. Is there another participant would like? Okay, Miss Althea from Barbados. Please, you could please turn on your camera and microphone.
Yes, question. At what stage do you apply the streptomycin? Is it at initiation? Is it in the sterilization process, or is it within the medium itself?
Excuse me, Miss Althea, can you repeat your questions, please?
My question is, at what stage do you apply the bactericide for the chili peppers and the potato?
Okay, she's asking about at what stage you are applying bactericide. At what stage?
Is it at the initiation stage? Do you incorporate it in the media? And you said the active ingredient would be streptomycin.
Bisa sih, lanjut kan?
Okay, the usage of the fungicides and also the bactericides, the first one is to sterilize the
Explant sterilization.
explant sterilizations, right, at the first, at the beginnings of before we planting in the culture vessels, and also on the acclimatization phase also. At the beginning, we sterilize using the fungicides and bactericide also, and in the acclimatization phase, after we taken out from the culture bottles, we also sterilize it using the bactericide and fungicides.
And
Thank you.
you can get the complete procedure in video. You can access in LMS and YouTube. There is complete procedure. Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Althea. Please.
Thank you, Ms. Althea. Okay. We still have around 3 minutes. Well, I think perhaps we can wrap up this session. So anyway, thank you very much for the team lecturer and the participants for our fruitful discussion that was had today. Now we are about to wrap up our session on the acclimatization. And to conclude the entire presentation and discussion, I would like to ask that each lecturer provide one final comment on seed propagation. Mrs. Sani, do you have any concluding thoughts for the participants, please?
Thank you, Ms. Niken. Thank you so much for your interest and attention today, participant. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I wish you all have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Sani. Mr. Abdul, is there anything else that you would like to say to the participants before you leave?
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Niken. First time, I want to say my condolences for your loss, Ms. Niken.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abdul.
Nice to meet you, all of you, on this training opportunity. I wish you always healthy and happy. I pray that this pandemic will end soon, and all of us can enjoy normal condition. And one day you can visit to Indonesia and enjoy the beauty of Indonesia. Stay healthy, stay happy, keep spirit. God bless you. Thank you.
Very much, Mr. Abdurrahim, for a very warm remarks, final remarks. And Mrs. Fia, do you have a closing message for the participants?
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Niken. I'm very delighted to meet you all in this online training sessions. We are across the boundary caused by COVID-19. And I hope you can gain more knowledge and benefits from these events. And I would also would like to thank you very much for your attention and the interesting discussions during these sessions. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I wish you all a blessed day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Fia. Okay, so once again, I would like to thank all the team lecturers and the participants for our fruitful discussion. Since the presentation and discussion sessions have been over, so for the next session, I would like to invite Ms. Yasmin to lead the next program as an MC. Ms. Yasmin, you have the floor.
Thank you, Ms. Niken, and good evening from Indonesia and good morning for all the participants. Our next session is the action plan. It is the next step in e-learning sequence, and participants must complete this final step to ensure that all the participants receive their certificate. And Mrs. Fia will show you how to fill out the action plan. So Mrs. Fia, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Ms. Yasmin. We would like to inform you about the actions plans. I'm going to share you where you can find the action plan. So you can open your LMS platform And you can find the action plan form at the very ends of this page. This one is the actions plans. You can download the action plan form and then you can fill it and you can upload your action plan in here. So in here, you can upload over here. And we hope that you can finish and complete your action plan by the 7th of August, 2021. Yeah, and I'm sorry. And I also want to remind you that before you fulfill the action plans, we hope that you can also to fill the evaluation form and also the post test. So after these sessions, you can start the post test for the 3 subject matter in this training, and also the program evaluations. This is for the facilitator evaluation form. And after that, we'll kindly request you to also fill the LMS evaluation form. In this, the LMS also. Okay, I think that's all, and we hope you can finish all of the steps in the LMS by the 7th of August. Thank you, Ms. Yasmin.
Thank you, Mrs. Via, for the comprehensive briefings. So as Mrs. Via has said, that the deadline to fill out the action plan, post test, and also the evaluation form is until 7th of August 2021 at 12 a.m. Jakarta time. As the committee, we recommend you to start completing everything by now, as the access will be closed by that time. The honorable lecturers, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, finally, we have reached the final session of our training. So, can a participant testify about our productive training and discussion today? So, we have received a confirmation from Mr. Fred Roches. Mr. Fred, are you there?
Mr. Fred from the list,
Mr.
your-
Fred
your
from the list?
Video and microphone. Okay.
Okay, so you may have the floor, Mr. Fred.
They choose me, or I was the one that chose the video just now. I like to say I really appreciate the 2 days of training that you guys have instilled in us. It's really informative training. It's very tedious, I can say, but surely learn a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fred. And also, we see Miss Althea Grace Barbados. Do you want to say anything regarding our training today?
Yes, I did enjoy the training. The 3 subject matters were loaded, full of information. So I hope that I'll be able to use it at some point and pass it on to my colleagues.
Okay. Thank you so much. So please accept my heartfelt thanks for your kind remarks, Mr. Fred, and also Ms. Althea. We are delighted to hear that all of you have benefited from this training. Next, I would like to allow ICAT's leader, Mrs. Siti Karimatun, to say a few words to the participants and also the committee. Mrs. Siti, the floor is yours. Mrs. Siti, I think you are still muted.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you, Miss Yasmin, Miss Niken. It is a privilege for me to be with you on the occasion of the closing session of the Horticulture Seed Propagation with Tissue Culture. Let me express my sincere gratitude and appreciation to all the participants for your active participation in bringing this training program indeed running smoothly and successful. Congratulations for all of you. I'm pleased to see you now, which is the last session of the training program. I wish you all have fruitful learning experience in this training. We hope that all of you can take and adopt the result of the training. Thank you, Ms. Yasmin.
Mrs. Siti, thank you for your time. It's a pleasure to work with the Ministry of Agriculture, especially on this second project on agricultural training that we have done before for countries in Asia and also the Pacific region last time. So it is my sincere belief that this training would significantly enhance the relationship between Indonesia and also the countries in Caribbean and Latin America. And NAM Center is glad to be a part of this important project. Once again, I would like to remind you that all the participants are reminded to complete the action plan, post-test, and also evaluation form by August 7, 2021. I'm Yasmin Habibah, therefore announcing the conclusion of this training. We look forward to seeing you on the next course. Thank you very much and see you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Terima kasih, Bu Yasmin, Bu Niken, Bu Siti.
Ya.
Gracias, gracias.
Pak Rohim, Mbak Fia, Mbak.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Where is your?
Gracias, gracias.
Thank you.
Was wonderful.
Yeah.
We can see you. Open your camera. Yeah.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Wah, Ahmad Guerrero. Ya, apa ini jenggot itu apa? Jenggot itu?
Gabriel. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks you all. Good bless you.
Good be.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, Bu Astuti.
Yeah.
Our friends from Ketindan, thank you.
Thank you, my sis
The next
Niken.
will be in Ketindan.
Bu Siti yang undang.
Ya.
Terima kasih Ibu, izin live.
Ya, izin.
Izin live Bu, selamat malam.